Center is here to help you put the focus into 2020 and create a strategic blueprint for your family. Contact the Resource Center today.
Well, good morning, everybody.
How's K-ROG country?
Hey, K-ROG is doing good, I think. We had a big parade out here Saturday. It was a big weekend for Rogersville.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We had the K-ROG, had my truck in the parade. We were throwing toilet paper out for the crowd.
I know that was awesome.
It was a big hit. People really liked getting some toilet paper from K-ROG this weekend.
Absolutely. I think that was great.
And then we went over and we saw the tree lighting and the concert with Louis, Michael, and friends, and the folks from Evolution and the Palm Cats were there, and they lit the tree, and the sixth grade choir sang, and so it was a good night at Rogersville. We had,
absolutely. Food
Food trucks were out there. I got a grilled ham and cheese sandwich that was pretty tasty.
Yeah, I've had that one before, and they are very scrumptious.
Oh, man. Yeah.
They fill you up, too.
Yeah, they do.
And they're good. They're like my mama used to make grilled cheese.
And the weather was
Ham and
just
cheese.
Beautiful.
I know, it was gorgeous.
For the parade.
You know, it was perfect for a Christmas parade. A little brisk air. You know, you got to have that little twinge of cold.
Just a little bit of snow in the air would have been nice, but we don't get that too much around here in December.
Well, not in Missouri.
Nope.
It's going to be tropical in a couple of years here.
I don't know.
Climate change and all, you know?
Yeah. How was your weekend?
It was great.
Yep.
We stayed busy. We had a relaxing weekend and had a big day at church yesterday. Had our Christmas program out at James River, and we had 6 services. So
oh, wow.
Had a nice sized crowd, and we spread it out, tried to keep everybody socially distanced, and so we had to add some services. But
sure.
Yeah, it was a great weekend.
Well, good. Yeah, you have to, for our Christmas Eve service at our church, you have to RSVP. We're limiting, we're having 3 services, and you have to say which ones you're coming to make sure we don't overload anything when we do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Stock market's been making a charge, I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's based off a lot of things. The vaccine's got a lot to do with that. I think the uncertainty of the election has kind of got the typically you got to remember, though, the market's not influenced by presidential elections. Now, with that said, this year's a little bit different. I mean, because of all the discussion on the tax issues and economics and things like that. But for the most part, the market is making a surge based on pure economics and the vaccine. They actually think that things are going to free up a little bit sooner than later.
Well, and don't you think a lot of the stock market deals with, the stock market's going to be wary of Joe Biden saying, I'm going to tax and all these taxes he's proposing. Yeah. But they're looking at the Senate probably staying in Republican hands, and they're counting on that, saying no to Joe on his tax plan.
And that's why, as fearful as us conservatives are of the left side, if we continue to control the Senate, it'll be fine. Yep. It'll kind of be a lame duck government. They're not going to be able to do a lot. And, I think it's high time they actually do something.
I don't know.
I mean,
the less government does, the better.
Well, yeah, maybe we should pay them to stay home and, disconnect their internet. I don't know. But, for the most part, God's in control. So we got to remember that. And, all this stuff, my dad always said, will it matter in 50 years?
It will not.
And to us, probably not.
Nope, it won't.
I fear for my kids, but, we can pray for them, and that's how we battle that.
Absolutely.
And that's where we go. So with all that said, with all the uncertainty and the market fluctuations, and right now it's surging, but it's based on an event called the production of a vaccine. Mm-hmm. Once that gets some ground and everything's fine, then what's it going to do based from that? A lot of people are running towards a conservative option called interest. Looking for a shorter term interest-bearing type account. Now, folks that have been shopping a CD rate, a money market rate, a savings rate, the market or the interest rates are not there. And in a nutshell, it's based on the Fed rate, and banks have to protect their margin. and they've got to make sure that they stay profitable, so they can't pay you 3 or 4% interest on a CD and loan out your money to my son buying a truck for 5 or 6% because the margin's not there. So they got to protect that. So if you're looking for just a good short-term interest rate, you sometimes have to think outside the box. The one thing that I would consider is a short-term annuity contract. Right now, we have a 2.4% 3-year fixed rate or a 5-year fixed rate, 2.65. And when you consider that, if you're only interested in leveraging interest earnings on your money, not spending your principal, because every person I talk to that has a bank CD, I say, well, what do you have it for? Well, I use my interest to supplement my Social Security. Okay, well, $100,000 generates about $250 a year. So it's not a lot of supplemental income.
Right.
When you could take the same money and leverage $2,400 a year out of a short-term annuity contract. An annuity is a promise to pay insurance contract. Guarantees your principal. It's backed by the company, backed by the state, etc. And it allows you to get a very competitive interest rate in some very volatile times. And you don't need a long-term contract if you have short-term needs. And so we address that issue, and we've come up, we went out to our sources, came up with these plans to fill the hole in the need.
So annuity is kind of like a reverse loan. You're the lender. Is that a fair statement?
Well, an annuity, by definition, is a insurance contract to generate income.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to annuitize. You don't lose control of your balance. So if I've got, let's just use a $100,000 example. So if I've got $100,000 in a bank CD, and all I'm using it for is to build some interest and keep my balance safe, the reason I probably bought that was because of safety, because it's not interest rate.
No.
Right?
No.
Right? I'm not influenced by
0.25%.
0.25, just doesn't really trip my trigger.
No.
Right? I bought it because it's FDIC insured.
Yes.
Right? You can have the same thing instead of under banking regulations, have it under insurance regulations. Same guaranteed contract, but insurance companies are able to have a higher interest rate. It's a contractual obligation. You leave your money there for 3 years, we'll pay you 2.4%. At the end of 3 years, you can go do whatever you want with it.
You get all your principal back at the end.
Yeah, you never lose control of your principal. So when you think about that, in these challenging times, if you could leverage 2.4% with a guaranteed contract, no risk to balance, no fees, and walk away from it in 30 years with your principal and your interest, that's great. What if you need some extra income during the middle? What if you have an emergency and you need $10,000? Right?
Right.
You can.
Okay.
You can access up to 10% of that balance per year for that 3-year period. But if you don't want to access it, you can let it lay there and compound its growth. So it's options. At the Resource Center, we try to constantly watch for solutions when we have people that send in questions, concerns, they're looking. We try to truly be a resource to our community. And it's not about sales. It's not about anything other than if you need help and you want somebody that's our staff is experienced, they know what they're doing, they'll listen to your needs, and we don't sell a product. We don't sell anything. We're a provider. You know, when you're independent in our world, just tell me what you're looking for and let me see what I can find. And we try to accommodate each person. So 882-1800, and we'll be glad to help. Or you can go on our website, resourcecenterinc.com, or send in some questions to K-ROG.
Right.
I'll be glad to answer them right here on air and give you a shout out. And we're here to provide solutions. So 882-1800, and we'll be glad to pick the phone up.
Thanks for coming in again, Bruce.
You bet.
We'll see you next week.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.